On Discord, there are several servers where children are coerced into performing self-harm live on camera. They call them cut shows. Observers typed commands like orders, escalating into increasingly disturbing demands. And in one case, the ringleader orchestrating it all wasn't an adult predator. It was a 13-year-old boy running a digital torture ring from his bedroom. It starts with a notification, a flash on a screen in a darkened room, an alert from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. For detectives, a tip like this is the beginning of a journey into a digital hellscape, a secret world hidden behind the harmless interface on one of the world's most popular chat platforms. The report speaks of a server on Discord, a private room where members gather for something unthinkable: children harming themselves, broadcasting it live, egged on by faceless usernames who treat real pain as entertainment. They call them cut shows. And the ringleader orchestrating it all? Not a hardened criminal in hiding, not a predator living offshore. The investigation, a tangled mess of IP addresses and encrypted chats, leads straight to an unsettling perpetrator. In Pasco County, Florida, detectives followed the National Center for Missing Children's tip. The data trail pointed to a child, a boy barely in his teens, running what investigators described as a digital torture ring. It's not just children cutting themselves. Reports document victims being forced to harm their pets live on camera. Others were pressured to escalate to the point of serious physical harm. Inside the server, members typed commands as if ordering from a menu. And the victims, other children, obeyed. Their suffering streamed to an audience hungry for cruelty. To law enforcement, the first priority was to identify and protect these victims. The second, expose the server's ringleader. What they uncovered was chilling. The administrator, the one setting up channels, pushing victims, and rallying the crowd, was himself a child, a 13-year-old sitting behind a glowing monitor in his family's home. The victims are often groomed, manipulated, threatened, but sometimes victims become perpetrators. Trauma turns into cruelty, and in the warped hierarchy of these groups, power comes from inflicting the worst pain possible. One former victim told Vice, the goal was to be as evil as possible. Screenshots recovered from similar servers showed taunts like,
"Bleed for us. Show you're real."
Each phrase is a digital noose tightening around a child who thinks there's no way out. And the platform where this thrives? Discord. Discord's very appeal, privacy, self-run servers, limited oversight, makes it fertile ground for predators. Most of its activity happens in private servers or direct messages, shielded from moderators. While the company partners with the National Missing Children Center to report illegal material, detection is almost always reactive. By the time a server is flagged, the damage is already done. The Pasco County case is proof. A child created a server so depraved it became a hub for torture and cruelty, and it flourished long enough to cause lasting harm. The scope of the problem is staggering. Lawsuits have accused Discord of being a hunting ground for predators. In April 2025, New Jersey filed a lawsuit accusing the company of consumer fraud, claiming its safety features are misleading and ineffective. One lawsuit describes how strangers can easily direct message any child by default. Another highlights the so-called Safe Direct Messaging filter, marked as protective, but allegedly useless in practice. Parents believe their kids are safe, but predators know better. Discord maintains its commitment to safety. It points to automated scanning of images for known CSAM and partnerships with watchdog organizations. But the structure of the platform itself, the shadows it creates, makes total prevention impossible. And that's what predators count on. The case of the 13-year-old shows how blurred the line between victim and perpetrator can be. Investigators also discovered illegal material on his devices, further deepening the case. They also discovered plans for escalating violence, files that suggested darker acts were coming. Was he a mastermind? Or a child already consumed by the horrors of the server culture he helped to create? Law enforcement now faces an agonizing reality. Punishing him doesn't erase the trauma. It doesn't save the victims who obeyed his commands. It doesn't undo the audience of strangers who watched, typed and encouraged. And it doesn't answer the most chilling question. How many more servers like this exist? Parents often have no idea. To them, Discord is just a chat app their kid uses for gaming. They don't see the hidden servers, the grooming and private messages, or the commands typed in real time by usernames who vanish seconds later. The truth is, children are fluent in digital spaces that most adults don't even know exist, and that makes them the most vulnerable. Every ping, every private link could be an entry point to something like the Pasco County server. The psychological fallout is immense. Victims are often left with deep trauma, nightmares, self-hatred, scars that don't fade, many spiral into depression or attempt suicide. And the young perpetrators, children like the 13-year-old boy, unfortunately are often victims themselves. Studies show cycles of abuse where the abused become abusers, clinging to the only form of power they've known. This cycle feeds the digital torture economy, a cycle where cruelty is both spectacle and currency. The case forces us to confront a grim truth. The internet is no longer just a playground. For some children, it is a hunting ground, a coliseum, a stage for acts of cruelty so disturbing they seem impossible, until you see the evidence. The most disturbing part? It doesn't take an adult predator to create it. Sometimes, the monster is just a child, with admin privileges. The Pasco County case is ongoing. Details continue to emerge, but what's already clear is that it's not an isolated incident. It's a symptom of something larger. A global crisis festering in the shadows of platforms built for connection, but exploited for pain. The next tip to the National Missing Children Center could lead anywhere. The next server could already be running, and the next ringleader might be sitting in a bedroom right now, staring into the glow of the screen, typing commands, watching the pain, and waiting for the next victim to log on.